And the confession is about your president. Number one, you know how this entire session happened? I wrote to her a couple of days ago, or maybe a week ago, requesting her to accommodate the visiting Toastmaster, DTM Maylene. And for a request of that magnitude, I expected an answer which was 3 letters. Yes. But instead, to my surprise, I got a request from the other side, which was basically, what do I get in return? I said, well, this was not expected. I said, okay, fine. When you don't know what to give, you try to ask, what do you want? That was the mistake I did. I said, what do you want? She said, well, give me some time, I'll come back to you. Now, this is suddenly the power equation has changed. Right? I'm like, what? You just said you'll come back to me? But this is all on WhatsApp, right? So nobody can see my reaction. I said, okay. And she definitely came back, and she came back with a request. She said, my club wants you to do an education session. I'm like, oh, I did not know what I was getting into. I said, okay, fine. Now it doesn't end there. I said, okay, fine. What do you want to speak on? She asked. I said, now anyway I've given up. So when you are in water, how does it matter? So I said, fine, you decide. She said, okay, wait, I'll come back to you. I said, what is this come back to you? Then she definitely came back and she said, you know what? We want you to speak on. I was like, okay, evaluation contest season. So she wants me to talk on evaluate to motivate. Or ISC, so how to craft your speech. Or what does district got to do with right way leadership. So maybe I was thinking all that. She said, networking in today's world. I said, wait a minute, did I read it right? Is it networking in Toastmasters or networking in today's world? I read it, networking in today's world. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm coming to a club meeting and why should I talk about networking? She said, this is what the club wants. And remember, you asked for a speech slot to Maylene. And on the other side, I had already promised Maylene that don't worry, in Hyderabad, our clubs are very, very hospitable. They will open the doors with open arms. They will put out the red carpet. I'm like, oh God, where am I going? But yeah, finally here I am. But I must tell you this, the reason I tell you this is because she made an important and interesting statement at the beginning. She said, we want our district director to be our ambassador. I must tell you this, I am proud to be an ambassador of Tech Mahindra Toastmasters Club. And the reason I say I am proud is because if you have a president who can put the membership ahead of anything else, if you have a president and an executive committee who can look at the club and its succession more than anything else, and if you have a culture which can look at the growth of the club and more than anything else, I think I must be proud to be a part of such a club and being an ambassador of such club. Thank you very much. So now, let's get to the meat. Now the meat is networking in Toastmasters world or today's world. I call it Toastmasters world because for all of us in Toastmasters, our world is Toastmasters. You ask me, I'm here between 11 to 1. I go back, grab a quick bite. I go back to ADP Toastmasters Club because they are celebrating 175th meeting today. So if I do 3 meetings in a day, then my world is Toastmasters. Right? But the fact is, networking, is it required only for Toastmasters world or is it required for every other world?
Every other.
So I will go to ADP after this, but you will go back to your desk. Yes?
Yes.
Do you want to do networking there? Or do you think networking there is allowed?
It's allowed.
Is allowed?
Yes.
Fantastic, is allowed. Right? Whether you agree it or not, your net worth depends on your network. Right? Let me make it very blunt and simple and lame. If your computer is not connected to the network, it doesn't work. If you are not connected to your network, you can't work. Yes?
Yes.
That's the beauty of networking. But it is not easy. The reason is there are many, many obstacles. Let us discuss some obstacles. What are the normal obstacles in networking? Barriers to networking. Give me 1-word answers, 2-word answers. Anand, take a go.
Lack of common levels.
Lack of common levels. So you can never expect everything to be equal. That's one barrier, right? Okay?
Fear of feet.
Fear of telling. I mean, what do you talk to strangers? How do you break the ice? Okay, you had somebody like Shah who did fantastic job today, but not everybody can do what he did today, right? So obviously, how do you break the ice? Then ego. Now, ego is, I can go on to another education session on it, but let's come back. But yeah, the three-letter word is not at all just three letters, right? Everybody perceives themselves to be bigger than what they are. Then, knowledge, levels. I may be qualified in education, you may be qualified technically. Now, how do we connect? Right? Then, one more. Bias, opinions, perceptions. I know that this is how it is to be. Now, if you have another opinion, keep it to yourself. Don't even bring it out in front of me. Because it is connected to the first answer what Anand gave. Difference in levels. Now, I am at a giving level, I will not take your answer. If you are at a giving level, you will not even acknowledge my presence. So these are the barriers. So let's quickly run through the barriers. One is the difference in individual levels, be it knowledge levels, be it power positions, be it education, be it exposure, be it experience. Second is ego. Third, knowledge I have already covered. Fourth is unable to put it across, unable to present yourself or express yourself. And then your understanding and your own perceptions, where you come from. Right? Communication, they say, is very interesting because they say in communication, we know what we give, but we don't know what you take. I am standing here tall, straight, and talking to you about networking in today's world. At the end of the session, somebody will say, what did he speak on? They may not say the same words, but they're like, yeah, somebody came 20 minutes, he did something, I did my WhatsApp messages, I cleared everything. Right? So that's the beauty of communication. So this is a problem in networking. Now, do you know what else happens? You have some more barriers which we normally don't pronounce explicitly, but these are there. Like for example, gender barriers. Now it's easy when you want to talk to towards your left, but it's not so easy to talk to your right. Right? Because coming from perception, how do I open the statement? What do I talk? What do I do? Gender makes a big difference. Then, demography, nations. Okay, we are all in this room now, lucky to have a Chinese resident of United States of America in India. Right? But then how do you break the ice? Okay, today we have a context. We go and shake hands with her and say, fantastic. I will learn CPI. You did a fantastic job as a speaker. That's it. But after that, what next? Do you have something where you can actually connect with her maybe after a week, maybe after 10 days, maybe after a month? Without Toastmasters. You can go back to her and say, listen, I'm talking about risk management, I'm giving my ACG4 or whatever, and she'll come back to you because Toastmasters world gives you a context. But how do you connect with people out of context and create context? That's networking. So when these questions came to me, and you like it or not, you believe it or not, all of us are a part of the same system. We often find ourselves in these scenarios where these contexts are not in our control. We have to create those contexts and get hold of those contexts. So I said, how does it happen? Then I remembered my experiences which happened over a period of time where I used to go to programs. Only I knew I went to program. You get what I said, right? Nobody know that I was available there. In fact, this was one experience, I want to quote this. There was this train-the-trainer program from Success Gang people which was organized at Chennai. So I was a part of it. 3 days, 3 grueling days, starting from 8 in the morning to 8 in the evening. 3 days I was there in the room. It was around 250 people, and the trainer did a fantastic job of mixing up the groups. He made us change our seat at least around 25 times in 3 days. 25 times, and I'm not exaggerating. Because his objective was, you get to sit with new people and learn. He made us do all sorts of activities, like from wearing a new headgear, getting off your shirt and going on the stage and singing a Bollywood number and blah and blah and blah. He made us do a lot of activities. I come back after a week all excited and rejuvenated. I said, okay, I am the best trainer. I am going to be the best trainer in the world, starting with Hyderabad. And then I come across this guy at Starbucks in High Tech City. His name is Vikram Dugar. You must have seen him in one of the videos which comes on Facebook nowadays. And I'm like, how are you? Long time. I said, what are you talking long time? I saw you the other day at Chennai. I said, he said, were you there in Chennai? I'm like, what? I mean, I know you're good at humor, but can't joke like this. He's like, I seriously did not see you, man. 3 days you said you were there. I don't even know you existed there. Is that a compliment or a comment? I mean, 3 full days, 8 to 8, you are there. You did everything. I actually had to tell him, hey, listen, that fellow who with that colorful hair dress, hairdo, and I was there on the stage, sang at Laila or Laila. You know who it was? He's like, oh, I saw that somebody doing it, but I did not even realize it was you. Now I know, okay, maybe you. He's still not convinced that it was me. I give him the benefit of doubt it is not me because I was completely in a different makeup. But the fact of the matter is, you attend programs, but you are not even noticed. Only you know that you are a part of the program. Then how do you network? And the statement remains, your net worth depends on your network. So then, I did something very interesting. I said, okay, if this is the situation, then this is not the way I would like it to be. I want to change it. Then I started sitting down and asking, who is the best networker? Who is the best networker in the world? Let me go and get trained under him. Frankly speaking, it's an assignment which I would like to give you. Go find the best networker on the Google and give it to me. You cannot. I did this. I tried doing it for 3 days. How is there any session on networking? They said, okay, you have an elevator page, you can do business networking, networking for dummies, but whatever they tell is all dumb. But there is no best networker system where I can go and learn from him. But in this entire context of searching, I found somebody who was the best networker in my way of looking at it. You know who it was? Any guesses?
Yourself.
Thank you for flattering me, but not me.
Beggars.
Anybody else?
Beggars. Beggars.
Beggars. Yeah, I mean, no comment there, but I did not find them there. Chandra Jain. Hey, you know him? Don't tell him I'm here. Right? It's what. Okay, he's my chairman, by the way, and I'm working actually. And we don't have an education work from home concept. We know what all you do. Yesterday I met a guy at the reception. This guy works for the US shift. His name is Alfred Ravi Toro. I don't know whether you know him or not, Toastmasters. And he was at the reception and he was supposed to be at Yash Technologies. I said, what are you doing here? Your shift is from 2 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the night. He said, I'm working from home. I said, okay. Fine. You got it close, but little more closer. You took the top end of the pyramid. I'm going to the bottom of the pyramid. It is my security guard. And I mean it with no insult to him. My security guard, his name is Jagadeesh. You can come to Kondapur, survey number 187, Botanical Gardens Road. He sits there, daring the sun and the rain, 24/7. I say 24/7 because 12 hours is his duty and 12 hours he stays in the campus. This guy, I have 500 kids in the school who study, not mine, parents who come and shoot their kids. 500 kids who come to the school. This guy has a network with all of them. I don't need to send a memo, a notice, or a message, or a WhatsApp, or a mail to parents to tell tomorrow is holiday. Just tell Jagadeesh. 500 parents will know. I don't know what he does. Don't you call that networking? We have a problem with ID card because what happens is every year in April when students come into the school, you have a big problem in identifying who's Ramesh, who's Suresh. Jagadeesh can come and sit in front of the computer and say, yeah, Ramesh, yeah, Suresh. How? God alone knows. It's okay if they are 5th graders and 8th graders. It's not okay when they are... All of them look alike, man. Whose kid? Nahi, who is he only? You don't know. Forget whose kid. You got it? But Jagadeesh can solve that problem for us. That is a business critical problem for us. Because just imagine sending the wrong son to the wrong house. Can you imagine handing over your son to somebody's hands? It's a business critical problem for an education sector. Don't you see the importance of networking?
Yes.
So that was networking for us, for me. Then I started to analyze what he does. And I can't tell him, I'm going to learn from you. Because tomorrow he'll come and ask, sir, increment chaliye. Right? CEO is learning from the watchman or the guard. And obviously he will charge. His way of charging is, please give me an increment. Right? So I'm like, okay, let me observe. So I started spending more time out of my office. And you know, the first thing what he did, or what I observed in him, which is exactly what we all should do to get good networkers, is what you all do in Toastmasters, but you forget doing outside Toastmasters. What? No. If you think you're conversing in Toastmasters, sorry, you're mistaken. Your VP education will tell you that. Nobody wants to converse. You have to push, hey, speech de dena, abhi slot khali hai. Right? That what I told them is, give a speech, there is a slot available today in the meeting. Right? So the point is, in Toastmasters, I often see this. In Toastmasters, we don't need a reason to smile. Yeah? I mean, I met Polomi just like few seconds after entering. And she had a nice smile, waiting, she's standing there like, hi, I am Polomi. Hi, I'm Chandra. And I'm smiling. It's involuntary. And you must have done the same thing with Maylene. You must have done the same thing with your colleagues who are sitting next to you, friends next to you. The problem is we don't do it outside. Huh, Chandra. This though won't even come out. Chandra. Right? Smile. You know what happens? The barriers we spoke about? Perceptions, knowledge, levels, language, nations, everything will crumble down when you smile. Do you agree with me or not?
Yes.
That's the secret weapon. And it's just between this. And we don't use it. We don't use it. In fact, Mahindra should start putting that outside the security gate. If you're carrying any of these, don't enter. And then they'll put on smile there. That's a weapon. She told me, are you carrying a gun? I said, I have a better weapon. Right? Are you getting it? That's the first thing I noticed that being done by Jagadeesh day in and day out. He smiles. Whether he knows you or not, he smiles. Whether he likes you or not, he smiles. Whether he wants it or not, he smiles. It's more like autopilot mode. He sits in the chair. Are you getting it? Yes. You got to get yourself on the autopilot mode. And the second thing which I loved in him is he talks to people by their names. He will not say, sir, madam, Hare Bhaiya, oh Benji. He will talk to people by their names. Maylene, can I do this for you? Maylene, welcome to Tech Mahindra Club. You know what? The sweetest word, the sweetest sound in this world is your own name. And if you don't get it right, that's the worst sound. Are you getting it? Are you getting it? So that's the second thing. He takes names, he talks to people with names. Can you do smiling? Yes. Can you remember names and talk to them?
Yes.
Now the third thing is this statement, remember this. Talk so that people can listen, and listen so that people can talk. Don't talk because others want to talk or you want to talk before them. And don't listen that when he stops talking, I will be talking. Are you getting it?
Yes.
So this is what he does. He talks so that others can listen, and he listens so that others can talk. Now if you see the four things what he does, talk and listen, smile and take names. The first two things gets you inside their heart. Smile and name. So you are inside their heart. The next two things gets you inside their mind. Are you seeing it?
Yes.
Listen and talk. So you are entering their heart first, you are entering their mind second. Now how to stay there? That's important, right? You can enter and come back, but how do you stay there? And when you want to stay there, These are the last two things he does. He gets genuinely interested in people. He is genuinely interested in people. He doesn't talk to people just because it's his job. He talks to people. One day I was listening to him and he said, "Sir, आपका वो कार का जो पीछे डेंट हुआ था ना सर, वो ठीक हो गया?" To the parent. Now why is he bothered? Not me. I am his employee. So he will definitely ask me. But why is he bothered about the parent's car's dent? But he asked. So he is genuinely interested in the person. You think the person will forget him? And you think the person is going to, dent ke bare mein puchna hai? Give me money. I'll get the dent repaired. Nobody will ask you. But at least he knows that he is genuinely interested in me. And the last thing, this is one way to stay there. And the last thing, he makes them feel important. He makes them feel important. Now when you go to him, because he smiles, he takes your names, he can talk to you so that you can listen, and he can listen to you so that he can talk. When you go to him, he makes you feel important. And when he makes you feel important, you don't want to go to anybody else. Yes or no?
Yes.
You don't want to go to anybody else. This is what he does. This is the secret. So 2 things to enter your heart or others' heart in networking: smile and use their name. 2 things to enter the mind: talk so that they can listen, and listen so that they can talk. And 2 things to stay there so that your networking happens is be genuinely interested in them and make them feel genuinely important. Try this with Maylene. Talk to her. Genuinely understand something about her life so that you can take up the conversation later, maybe over WhatsApp, maybe over Facebook, maybe over an email. And when you visit United States, I think she comes from Dallas.
Yes.
So go to Dallas and do a speech in her club.
Yes.
Right? That's networking. Is it not networking now?
Yes.
Is it not networking? You did not do anything about business networking. You did not take your resume and give it to her. You did not share a business card. Nothing. You just did simple stuff. But then that is networking, Deepak. That's it. Have I given you something?
Yes.
I have not given you. Jagadeesh gave it to me. I am only a postman between the message and the consumers. I am the messenger, the receiver. Got it? So thank you so much for your time.